Hello everyone, my name is Susana and my partner Monica. We're going to talk about real translation messes, mistakes, and errors that had real life consequences. In translation process, there are many errors when translating. We chose uh, we choose four of the most common translation errors or mistakes. The first will be an effective communication that happens when there is not a good communication with the client. Always in each meeting, we must be sure that a good agreement is being reached. The number two is translation word for word. This will be the most common mistake in translation. When a translation is made, it must make sense because a literal translation doesn't work. The number three is using incorrect words. It is mentioned that this mostly happens in people with the little experience who don't use words with a good equivalent in the other language. And finally, the number four is accepting documents not in your area of specialization. A good translator must accept words depending on the area in which he or she is specialized. This will make him deliver a very good job. Little translation mistakes that cause big problems. The $71 million worth. An interpreter confused the term intoxicado with intoxicated. The family believed that the boy was having a food poisoning, but in fact he was having a brain hemorrhage. The doctors thought that he was having a drug overdose. Due to the delay in treatment, Ramirez was left tetraplegic. He received a 71 million settlement for negligence.
I'll continue with the errors that has real life consequence. Well, translation errors are common enough. They have a variety of potential negative consequences. Um, some of them has minimal or limited effects, like back press, and some are so catastrophic that results in hefty fines or change the course of history. In the first place, medical practices. In 2004, several hospital staff were sentenced with manslaughter after inappropriately treating over 450 cancer patients at a hospital in France. In the course of over 4 years, where 7 patients died. The mistreatment was due to improper management of the radiation machines that were upgraded to new ones. The instruction booklets of the new machines were in English and the hospital staff were French. The to mistranslation, uh, the doses of radiation were miscalculated. Well, medical complications to their treated patients, the court pushed through with the charge considering the gravity of the situation, going on to be known as one of the most serious medical mistranslations to occur in France. The second is the Hiroshima bombing. Uh, Well, in this case, the US government issued the Potsdam Declaration in 1945 and demand Japan's surrender. Unfortunately, its prime minister responded by using the word mokusatsu, what means by this is no comment, and we are still thinking about it. Unfortunately, his words were interpreted incorrectly. The sentence was translated as "we ignore with contempt," which resulted in the atom bomb to be dropped on Hiroshima a few days later. Uh, the the third is the scandalous suggestions. Um, Branding can be difficult issues when it comes to transferring a slogan and name past international territories and contexts. In this case, one major example of unprecedented branding scandals is the Nokia Lumix title. Um, the word traditionally means a mistress of the night, but it didn't stop the phone company from choosing it as its newest flagship brand for its potential resurgence. And the last is the HSBC. Uh, assume nothing was the HSBC Bank's catchphrase that got mistranslated in 2009 as do nothing. The bank has to spend another 10 millions of dollars to repair the damage by launching and rebranding campaign. And well, I have another example that is Shenlong. And there is a known game named Street Fighter 2, and one of the characters in the game has a reply including the word Rising Dragon. Um, when translating from Japanese to English, the translation was presented as Shenlong. As the translator saw a new character was added to the game. As a result, many people were trying to find this inexistent food in the game in an attempt to defeat him, thus wasting a lot of time. So the last slide is about some suggestions to solve these problems or to avoid them. And the first is cost. By using the most up-to-date translation processes, well, including translation memories and customized machine translation. When appropriated, organizations can save on translation costs and maintain quality. Meanwhile, an improved centralized project management process can reduce redundancies and maximize efficiency to further reduce costs. And the second, do thorough research. This means learning and understanding the minute grammatical and syntax difference between languages will help translator about avoid simple spelling and grammar errors. And avoiding literal translation will help preserve the integrity of the word. The third is pay attention to the nuances of the languages. This refers to reading books, listening to audio files, perusing grammar books, and observing body language because this will help translator understand what words and sentence mean, and this will help translator get a better picture about the way language is used in a particular country, and it also will help reduce errors due to mistranslation and misuse of words. And the last, the quality. Well, the translation quality is another issue. And when it comes to quality, improved processes and technology can only do so much. And you also need a team of skilled linguistics on tap, native speakers who are fluent in both languages and have the subject matter expertise and experience to translate specialized terms when it's required. And that's it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this presentation.